Unfortunate breaking news. If you go to my screen here for a second, rifttv.com is reporting live with current updates on the shooting and the shooter. Charlie Kirk, the director and founder of Turning Point USA, a personal friend of us here at the show, has done a lot for us. He was shot in the neck at the Utah Valley University Q&A campus, has been evacuated. And just to clarify, as we talk about this and the unfolding details that are emerging, we want to start by saying we pray for Charlie Kirk and for his family, particularly, and for the colleagues of his at Turning Point, and for our whole country, as this could send shockwaves beyond just his inner circle and could create great instability. He's a friend of the president's, which is also important to know, but our biggest concern is the politics. It's his health. I do want to warn you that there is a copy of the footage that will be dropping into the chat here right now on rifttv.com. It is too violent to show on both Rumble and on YouTube because if it results in a death, then it's the broadcast of an assassination and violent extremist event, and we are not allowed to show that footage. But our journalist Alicia Powell is giving live updates, so make sure you grab the article at rifttv.com. It's at the top, and she's sort of releasing information on his shooter. Well, all we know right now, we'll get into those details and so much more here on another episode of The Rift. Unfortunately, breaking early here, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, usually at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Let's start the show. My name is Elijah Schaefer. We're not going to do any applause today due to the sensitivity of the subject. We are here live at the Rift, an emergency breaking session. I want to remind you, if you're just joining today, remotely and joining our show for the first time, there is footage we'd like to show you that is too violent for even Rumble. You already saw the stuff with Irina and what was going on with the Ukrainian girl. This is, in fact, more bloody, and I don't even know at this point if the reports that he's in the hospital are even true. We do have a lot of details. Joining me, we're going to just do some quick updates. We have Michael Hennessy. We'll just show him for a second here, a contributor and producer, as well as Braden Sorbo commenting. And joining us in the second hour of the show, we'll be doing some one-on-ones and some personal stuff. The first hour, we'll be covering the breaking news here. You might know him from YouTube. You might know him from around the block. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell us why you're here, and we'll jump into it.
I'm Joe Telford. If you probably know me online as JTFollowsJC, and I talk about a lot of weird stuff, and this is crazy. That's all. I mean, I'm kind of at a loss for words after the breaking news. Yeah, this is so like it's weird because you do conspiracies, and let's provide the details so that we can be kind of the audience before we get into discussions on what we think's happening. And just a reminder, guys, this is genuinely a friend of ours. This is not like an attachment thing. Obviously, you guys know Charlie has given me a lot of money over the years. I've spoken at a lot of their events. He's been a very kind person, which I've never spoken poorly of him on the show. And it is I spoke to some of his colleagues who were honestly crying, and I think this is genuinely a shocking event. Let me tell you guys the story if you're just getting into it. rifttv.com reports breaking news. Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck at a Utah Valley University Q&A. You can actually see the image. We've sort of downgraded and blurred it here for you guys. But again, if you go to the rifttv.com and grab the article, the footage is posted there at the top. Charlie Kirk, a prominent conservative, was shot near the neck. Actually, was shot in the neck directly with the new footage that was released at the Utah Valley University during a Q&A session Wednesday. Screams filled the air as attendees fled per eyewitness accounts. The campus was shocked. You go down here, and we'll be providing updates. So let's just go ahead and let me click on this here and read you the full story. In a shocking act of violence that has set shockwaves through conservative circles and beyond, Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck on Wednesday afternoon during a live student Q&A session at Utah Valley University. Eyewitnesses reported, and I will say, I guess is the footage now not found? Okay, I guess it might be blocked. Let me, can you message Alicia as well and tell her I'm going to send it to her real fast manually so she can embed it. Give me a moment here, guys. Sorry, it is very, very shocking footage, and I need to make sure that we show people the truth of what's going on. Let me see. One second. Sorry.
Sorry, I'll update you. Just sorry, guys. I had to send that to our journalist right now. Okay, the incident, which unfolded around 12 p.m. local time, prompted an immediate campus-wide evacuation, turned a routine campus debate into a scene of pandemonium, with screams echoing across UVU courtyard as gunfire erupted. Just a reminder, guys, if they were still updating the website, you can see the footage of what happened. It is important, and I will tell you this: for people that are saying that the critics say it's for clicks, it's whatever. No, I actually have this new concern right now, which I want to talk about before we pray for Charlie publicly. That it is about time people see the footage of what's happening in our country, the violence, not just interracial violence, but intraracial violence, to see what's really going on, the craziness of what's happening. And, realizing that these white lefties, I think Charlie had been rumored to say some things about a certain country. It was rumored, because if he spoke out against them, could try to, kill him. I know that there's lefties that have been threatening to kill him for a while. So, it's not just black crime that's a problem in our country. We have a universal mental illness as well that has wreaked havoc among white people, among Jewish people, amongst everybody. And I believe that it is something serious, but I will report to you right now in the current state, he fell from his chair instantly. One attendee posted on X sharing footage of the crowd. So here's the only thing we can show you here live. Check this out. I think we can show you this because it's a far away shot here.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Oh my God.
Go, run.
Yeah, so there's that basically. That's a very short clip. And also to let you guys know here, this was shortly after he was hit and struck in the neck. I will say when you see this is about as much as we can show you here, which is a picture of him being struck to confirm. But like I mentioned, you can go to the Instagram, the RiftTV.com, the Rift TV as well. If you want to see the footage, you got to swipe right for it. But this is very serious news. All right, we're going to be talking about some of this stuff that's going on here. If you're watching as well in the chat, this is absolutely remarkable about what's going on, because I want to bring this up, JT, and this is serious here. As much as I just want to be in shock and stand back, we do have a problem with violence, and it seems to be that the only people perpetrating the serious violence right now in this era, with the mass shootings in schools, with all the transgenders, with the assassination attempt of Trump. Remember the shootings of Steve Scalise that you had going on. It seems to be that it's the left, or the left is protecting the violence. And it seems like there's one side that's trying to continue violence, make people feel threatened. And, we talk a lot about, 2 Jews were killed in DC, which of course, we don't want any innocent people getting killed. We created laws. We had statutes. I think it was 12 different, policies that got put in place to try to protect Jewish people. We gave $100 million to protect synagogues. But, when it comes to whether whites killing whites or blacks killing whites or the general violence, it kind of seems like we're sort of asked to just accept that this is the new chaos. I don't know what you think's going on here. I'd like to get your take on what it seems to be a shocking situation here on what you think's going on.
I mean, of course, I think most things boil down to spiritual issues, because I think that just, a lot of the gun violence is legal firearms, but yet these issues still come up. So if new gun laws, I'm not sure if that's the answer. I just feel like, I feel like we're in dark spiritual times, and I think that this kind of stuff promotes fear, which only kind of leads to more chaos, more violence. And I think we need hearts and minds change. I mean, Absolutely. I know that sounds kind of simple, but I mean, I don't know how it's less simple how it actually happens though.
Well, but I mean, there's a cover up going on. We saw that the mainstream media with the Ukrainian refugee, how much they didn't want to cover that, and this is actually sickening. MSNBC right now, you brought this up. What happened here?
MSNBC is instantly trying to say it was a supporter shooting off their gun in celebration, so immediately defending the scenario, which isn't a surprise from them.
But check this out. We have this on footage here. Listen to this.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, to emphasize what you just emphasized, we don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration or so.
Do you see the framing already? That Charlie Kirk was shot at, right? So Charlie Kirk was shot at, Braden. I think it's kind of remarkable here. And also they say he was shot at. It's never like Charlie Kirk likely assassinated or Charlie Kirk might be dead, shot in the neck. There's no seriousness brought to this stuff when it's us, but then a black, remember when that white kid just smiled at that native guy? No, he's not even Native American.
Yeah.
Because
he made a lot of money.
Yeah, he made a lot of money.
Yeah.
When there's something towards black people or whatever, we never hear the end of it. But when something happens to a right winger or a conservative or a white person or the enemies of the establishment, it's always downplay. And this makes me pissed because as I've mentioned, it's not like I'm not going to Charlie and I get tea every morning, and hang out. But I mean, and there's never been a time where I don't see him where he's not kind and doesn't walk up to me, say hello, have a chat with me, and has, again, helped me get opportunities, been around. And even when people, dogpiled me when I left the Blaze, Charlie messaged me and said he didn't believe the bullshit, and he, got my back. And I even had the director of Turning Point call me the other week and tell me that Charlie and them wanted to be friends and have a booth at the next Damfest. Like, this is not somebody who's just like a random person. This is a friend. This is a colleague. And with the seriousness of this, it's just a reminder of what Sam Hyde said is like, they not only want you dead, they think it's funny. You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand, Brady, what I'm saying, but it seems like they find it to be fun how they can downplay the tragedies that are happening, particularly in this point towards Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, they're downplaying it, and it's disgusting. It's hard for me to put into words the emotions that I'm feeling right now, because Charlie Kirk, regardless of what you think of his stance on foreign affairs or whatever, he is the guy who sort of started this movement. Turning Point has events with 10,000 people attending it. No other conservative organization is pulling in that many numbers. Turning Point has really led a massive wave of revival of young people who want to fix this country. Charlie Kirk has a wife and kids, and they certainly don't deserve it. To think that he could very well, his life could end today because he was trying to have an event at a school where he was discussing with people ideas, having freedom of speech, dialogues back and forth, and now his kids will grow up without a father is infuriating. I mean, I'm struggling to wrap my head around that, because this sets such a dangerous precedent. And like you said with MSNBC and all of these people online, Harry Sisson, Hakeem Jeffries, like all of these, whether they're political commentators for the DNC or they're actual elected representatives, all of a sudden calling for, violence doesn't have a place. It's your rhetoric that led us here. It is the rhetoric that has been used time and time again, that when they go low, we kick them. We have to beat them back. We have to hit the Republicans hard. We have to do these calls for violence are what led us to this place. And this precedent that has been set is, if you have vanilla takes about conservatism like Charlie is not some right-wing Hitler Youth support. Like, Charlie Kirk has very basic conservative takes. And the fact that he is getting attacked or even assassinated over it is absurd.
Yeah, but do you think, JT, that this is, I don't want to speculate here too early, as we're getting more info right now, so I'm waiting for it to load up. We have a couple journalists on it. Just reminding you guys, if you're watching, you can go here to rifttv.com and find this article about Charlie Kirk. Alicia Powell, if we can bring this up here, Alicia Powell is updating this article as we speak, giving information on the shooter. And of course, there's individuals like that have really detracted, not just MSNBC, but some of our own people. I mean, you brought up, Braden, somebody that had made a statement. I want to get JT's opinion on this as well, with what's going on here as we get the info, since it's coming in live. One of the commentators on the right wing sort of already tried to distract and make this about something other than the fact that somebody was just shot a matter of minutes ago, possibly assassinated. And what did they say? Who was it? What happened, Braden? Somebody tried to make it about race already or something like that?
Can I name him? Am I allowed to name him?
Yeah, I want to know what they said. I didn't hear it.
So
in the other
someone
room.
commented, it was like Colin Rugg or whatever made a post about it, and then Bryson Gray, the rapper, said, are you going to talk about his race too? Because everyone was talking about the race of the Ukrainian girl who got killed, and the DeCarlos Brown Jr. was being black, and he said, I got that white girl, so people made it about race because it was. And so the second the news comes out that Charlie gets shot, Bryson goes, well, are you going to make this one about race too? Which is just very distasteful.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it's troubling that, because as we just came up to the studio, I got the news, and it's like, it's hard to really wrap my mind around somebody who can't see the humanity in this story, where like, whether you agree with all his political takes or not, if you saw the video, you saw the pictures.
Yep.
Like, my stomach, I just got sick to my stomach, and I can't imagine trying to use this as a political, football right now. Let's make it about this so we can score a couple points. I just think that people with the fastest, hottest take, it says a lot about those people to do that.
But this is my question to you, is, as someone in the chat said, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to Charlie, while he, especially because he might be deceased and to his family, but they were saying, like, Charlie is milquetoast in his opinions. Like, they're not very extreme at all. And I bring that up in the ideas, like, if he said in the chat, if they're willing to do that to someone who's milquetoast, what do you think they want to do to you? And I really do want to use this as a learning curve for everybody. The reason why we had to publish the footage, and the reason why we had to work to try to FOIA, Alex Jones ended up getting the FOIA, which I don't care who got it, for the Ukrainian refugee, is the reason why you care about the Holocaust, the reason why you care about things from the past, or you think your history is about slavery and the Holocaust, is because that's the imagery they put into your head, and they don't want you to see what's really going on in the world right now. They don't want you to see the Charlie Kirks getting assassinated. They don't want you to see the young Ukrainian girls getting stabbed in the neck unprovoked. And to answer to the Bryson Gray question, apparently Trump just weighed in right now, so they must pray for Charlie Kirk. He's been shot, a great guy from top to bottom. So obviously, Trump being someone who, some people say he wasn't shot, but I'm just saying, the reports are he was shot at least, and it grazed his ear. The point is that they're trying to control our thought process. And I want people to realize that it's like, if Charlie dies, if Charlie's deceased, or even if he survives and he's permanently damaged, or even if he survives and he makes a full recovery, which is our greatest prayer in all of this, then what? Right? So then what was that? Do we just go, man, that's it's an injury, like you smashed your finger in the door and there's a recovery? Or you're saying, actually, we need to do something about this because I we've seen a lot of transgenders and people that are pro-left commit a lot of mass shootings and atrocities. Nobody's saying to Bryson Gray that white people don't shoot people. What you're saying is, I don't think that he shot Bryson because they didn't shoot Charlie because he's white. They probably shot him because of his views. Also, I think, I don't want to get too conspiratorial here because I think it's inappropriate in the moment, but, in the inside talking here, Charlie had been speaking out a little bit against certain things, certain people. I know I've been speaking out. I just faced a lot of backlash, got some real big business trouble because of my opinions on a certain place in this world. I've never stopped having problems. And, if they're willing to go after your livelihood, right when you lose your car and everything, they know you're in a bad position, and so they come and they strike and take more of your money and try to ruin your life. Those people, do kill people, and I'm saying he has been vocal, and it is interestingly enough, when you see people like Michael Knowles, sort of capitulating to them and making fun of Greta getting hit by a drone, which is disappointing. It was very disappointing. It's like, I like Michael Knowles, he's a friend, and when you see Chris Rufo making everything that happened with this white girl about Israel and stuff. You see who else did that as well? What's her name? Not Alexa. What's her name? Ariane Wexler. Said with the white girl that got killed. Well, now maybe whites know how Jews feel in Israel. And when these people like co-op are suffering, it's because they're trying to mold your brain into everything that happens to us is about you caring about Israel, or everything about white people. If you care about white people, it's about racism towards blacks. They're trying to control us. And the reason why we have to share these narratives is because we need to stop making caring about our people, our conservatives, our leaders, our white men. If he was a black leader, if this was Reverend Jesse Jackson, the news, this would be like the number one story. We'd be calling, the Biden would be apologizing to the entire black community and stuff like that, even if it was done by another black guy. And they wouldn't even tell you the perpetrator was black. They have a narrative, and we need to take back the narrative to protect people, because I don't want to see another young girl killed on a bus. And they will be, by the way. This is going to keep happening. I don't want to see another Charlie on the bus. But as my wife called me to ask me how we were doing here, or was going to go, don't ask me how we're doing. We got to be praying for his family. We got to be praying for Charlie. We got to be praying for their staff. We got to be praying for the people around them. We got to be praying for our country, because this is one of Trump's friends. This could lead someone like Trump to act irrationally. My whole point of this is, it's like, hey, what we need to be asking ourselves is why we're okay with living like this. And that's what I hope that these videos show people in the meantime. We can pray all we want. I'm actually agree with all the Democrats like Newsom and Jacob Frey, and they're like, prayer, what does prayer do? Prayer does a lot, but also action does a lot too. So pray for the strength as well to take action. And we've literally got to figure this shit out, because living in a dystopian nightmare like this, imagine his wife and he has young kids. This is absolutely fucking terrible what's going on right there for his family. And it makes me fucking sick that people are already trying to say he was shot at. You look at the footage. His neck is shooting blood out. And it's shooting blood out, and he falls. You can see it on our Instagram. You can see it on our website. We can't play it here. He gets shot as clear as hell in the neck. And instead of saying likely assassinated, the media is saying, because he's a conservative, because they don't like him, because he's Trump's friend. It's all about downplaying. And I'm just saying, if we keep putting the footage out like this, that's why we're putting it out. I'm reminding people, we're already getting criticism for releasing it. It's because I don't want the downplaying to happen. We are under attack. He was just either assassinated or nearly assassinated, and that's what this is. Whether it's your race, your politics, that's what they're going after. They're going after white people and conservatives in general. And someone's got to say it, because that's what's happening. Blacks are not under threat. They're under threat from each other, okay? Liberals are under threat. They're killing themselves. Transgenders are killing themselves. We're not killing them. I don't know, man. this is very serious. That's what I was telling my wife too. It's like, this is a friend, and it's an emotional thing. Again, talking to some of his friends right now, they're crying because it seems like we're being systematically defeated, and there's a demoralization campaign. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but this seems too close to what just happened with the girl killed on the train. Like, this was, everyone started collectively getting mad, and this is like, hey, we will kill you if you step out of line. That's what this seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, the whole situation's terrible. I feel bad for his family. My prayers go out to him, his family, everyone. But there's a lot of people who are going to use this as a way to, politicize everything. Like, so for instance, like you were mentioning about guns, of course they're going to say that there needs to be stricter gun laws. I mean, we have places like Chicago, which has the strictest gun laws. So I really don't think that's a problem. I think we have a lot of disturbed people in our country, maybe from over the border, or maybe just that we allow them to, who are already in the U.S., but judges are letting them out early. There's a lot of different scenarios that are at play, and then to hear Bryson say that about, trying to compare it to the train is just disgusting, or the bus ride. But yeah, I mean, something does need to be done. Do I think we need the extent of Palantir? I think this is where it might be heading, but no, I don't think we need to that extent, but we do need to fix our country. People don't feel safe anymore. Right now we're in Boca Raton, which is like one of the safest places, but Elijah had his car stolen. There was another guy talking about he had a knife pulled out on him. So we need to have it so our country is safe, so our families can be safe. And right now, the way we're going is not getting us anywhere as close to that. And we need to start taking this seriously. And the news wants us to hide videos. For instance, the one.
There we go.
Muted all of us. But no, it's unfortunate. You see the video of the girl. You see the video of what happened with Charlie. It's very disturbing. Nobody wants to see that. But in the same time, we have to go ahead and we have to let people know how bad it's getting and how much all of us are at risk if we don't start taking the right steps to go ahead and fix the problem.
Yeah. Did you see the close-up one?
I did. Yeah. I mean, it was sickening. I mean, I think what you said is what my take backstage is that I'm surprised that Charlie Kirk from us seems very safe in the opinions that he has. I mean, it's kind of just general conservative Republican opinions, and it doesn't. I would not have expected it. I mean, I think everybody's in shock, but I would not have think that he's that much of a lightning rod. I mean, I know he's controversial to some people, but yeah, it does actually. I mean, you can't help but feel a certain way if you have strong opinions and you speak in public, and especially people who have big public social media platforms. Yeah, of course you're going to piss some people off, but you don't expect this, especially from a guy like him. I mean, there's a lot of other people you would have expected or would have potentially have a target on their back, and I don't mean to say that lightly. I mean, to see that, yeah, and we talked before, and I was like, how many thousands of appearances publicly has Charlie Kirk done?
Yep.
And in Utah, I mean, like, so you're just thinking, like, it could happen to anyone, anywhere, and maybe that's what the whole point is, that people are afraid, and then they'll start say, if they could do this to Charlie Kirk in Utah, well, maybe I should self-censor. Maybe I shouldn't say some things that could potentially get some blowback. It's hard to even put it to words.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have seen, but they're making videos now on TikTok about it. Under the Desk News made a video about Charlie Kirk being shot, and I haven't seen the video itself, but just going through the comments, per Charlie Kirk's own words, gun violence and deaths are okay to protect Second Amendment rights. We'll see if he changes his tune. What was he wearing? He should have just said no. It's worth it to have the cost. So what's everybody having for dinner tonight? Like, I need people to understand that the left is truly sick. Like, it's the rhetoric of saying to attack people that disagree with you and mental disorders paired with SSRIs. And
sorry, real fast. The reports are saying Charlie's confirmed dead now. That's what I'm seeing. That's the information I'm getting, that Charlie died from sustained injuries. And again, I'm going to continue to say alleged till I hear from his team, or they give an official statement. If you do see the close-up footage, sorry for blocking you. No,
it's good.
Just got a text from someone from not close enough in their team to confirm, but just that they heard that he's confirmed dead right now. Sustained injuries, and to tell you how, just to tell you guys how serious this is. We talk a lot about the South Africanization of this country, and I'm not politicizing this. I'm trying to explain to you guys how serious this is. Everybody understands why someone would want to kill Trump, or if Trump was killed. There's for all of history, political leaders are murdered and assassinated, and that we try to live in a polite society where that doesn't happen. But there's a group of people that is assassinated a few of our last presidents, or tried to. And, they still control our government today, unfortunately. But I'm not going down that rabbit hole right now because it's inappropriate. My point being is that people understand why people want to kill leaders. But I spoke to my wife and just let her know I believe Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I don't have information. I'll let you know. She said this. She goes, "That's like one of your friends and your colleagues." Look, and I'm not saying anything. It's like, I'm not making this about me. I'm saying, yeah, he's more famous than me and, has more money and is more politically connected. But it's like, me and him have shared stages together. This isn't like I haven't shared a stage with Trump. I haven't sat down in a chair and had, one-on-one dinner with Trump. I haven't, sat on the phone or text, Trump. Like this is one of our colleagues, one of our friends. And which is why I'm very careful not to attack Charlie on the show if you're just joining for the first time, even though, sometimes I'll attack his ideas, but he's been a very, 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 very kind person and he employs a lot of my friends. And what we need to be thinking about right now is two things. Number one, what is the state of his family and his children, who I think might be too young to comprehend this? I believe he has 2 children, correct?
Yes.
Now? He has 2 young kids right now. If you're a father, if you're a mother, if you're someone who wants to be a father or mother, think about the devastation this is going to cause for his children. And be praying for his kids right now for their future. Pray against the attacks of the enemy and the nastiness of the left and the Republicans who are going to make this just disgusting comparison. Be praying for his wife. Luckily, I think Charlie is an affluent guy, but I don't think all the money in the world she would take to have her husband be gone. I think that the right people come alongside her to make sure she's taken care of for her life. That's what we got to make sure right now. And also, depending on what's going on, I just want to bring this up. Just bringing up a quick picture. This is Charlie and his family, and he's even sensitive enough not to put their faces up like many of us are because we know how sick the world is. This is a loving father and his wife. I think she's a beauty pageant winner as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about the killer for a second and what we know about that in just a moment. But if the reports are true, and I have to continue to say allegedly, he's been assassinated. And I think we need to use that phrase, not killed, but assassinated, JT, because when it's a targeted killing based upon ideological differences, I don't think he was killed in a drive-by or killed in a car accident. And wording is very important here. It is vital and crucial that we get it right. I don't think we can call this anything but an assassination and realize that, again, like I said, they're already moving down the ladder. They're killing podcast hosts now. Who's next? And I don't want to go on without saying, it's like, who's next? It's like, hey, this is somebody like at the level of Tim Pool or people that I text all the time. So what, can we just kill Tim now? And then once it's Tim, who else can we kill? Can we kill Tim's listeners? This is where you start changing the Overton window of what kind of violence is acceptable. And when does this happen? When you start saying violence is acceptable. And then it changes, and then it changes, and then it changes, and it changes. Remember, Austin Metcalf's murder raised over $500,000 from stupid, low IQ individuals in this country, particularly of a certain racial ethnicity. And we didn't do anything to hold that accountable. And that's where we're at, is that violence is acceptable if you don't like the person. And people that hate whites raised money for him, and the left is trying to make this downplay it because they don't like his politics. And when you start doing that in a country, it's not just destabilizing. It's beyond their family. This is implications and shockwaves that go far beyond just this death and create a new system of what we choose to do for this. With the governor, I know they already reached out and said that they're going to be holding the shooter accountable. The shooter accountable? Is this going to be another Trump shooting where with the shooter, we don't know anything about the shooter? Mm-hmm. I don't know, JT, what you think, but it doesn't seem like we've had a lot of accountability for. It seems like the 9/11 project really gave us a lot of answers about who was in the stairwell repairing the elevator shafts in what appeared to be a demolition where explosions were heard before. We were just told it's a terrorist event. Now we need to go to war for 20 years. It doesn't seem like we're getting a lot of accountability. What are your thoughts on this right now? As we, again, if you're just joining now on the live, reports are that Charlie Kirk is confirmed dead after being assassinated. I will hold my breath until I get an official a report from his team saying so. We know that he's near fatal or in critical condition at the very least, as we saw blood squirting from his neck in a close-up video that you can find on our Instagram or our website, rifftv.com. We will drop the article link. I'll drop it right now again in the chat. If you need to send the story to your friends and family, please let them know there is a warning on the label, and this is very serious here. I'm going to remind you guys, too, as I go to JT, that we are going to be not doing any advertisements for this show. because it's very odd to be bringing up random advertisements as we're talking about a friend who was just murdered. But if you do want to, support the show right now, the best way to do so to support truth and what we stand for is support what we stand for and send this article to friends and families. Like the video, subscribe, try to get it boosted so people can see what's going on so they don't see MSNBC. This is more about let's get the truthful message out. Let's get accountability out, not let's promote this network or the show or anybody on the show today. We want to partner with you guys today. So please go to that. Please go over there and find ways to get this story out from the perspective. JT, what are your thoughts?
Well, of course, what you're saying about the supposed assassination attempts on Trump, or not should I say supposed, but the assassination attempts on Trump, those stories disappeared really quickly after they took place. And I mean, you would have thought that's a pretty big deal. You try to assassinate a former president and then potentially the current president now. And then, yeah, for MSNBC to say that Charlie Kirk was shot at, because I'm sure they had access to the video that we all saw beside the stage, and to downplay it in that way, because if he is confirmed dead, I mean, if you saw the video, we know.
Yeah, it's terrible. And they always do that. CNN, there's a video we have as well where CNN went ahead and they said the guy that stabbed the girl, we should focus on him because he's a man who's hurting. They had one of the people said, and then they also tried to claim that it had nothing to do with being white, even though the guy was walking back and forth saying, I got that white girl. So the media is always going to try to sweep it under the rug, try to cover it up and just bend it and twist it whatever way they want their agenda to fit. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, like I said, I do feel like for the first time in my life, I'm kind of at a loss for words, because just seeing that backstage and seeing, then obviously getting the confirmation of it. And I have a hard time, I know that there's evil out here, but it really is, it's really troubling when you hear normal people just trying to use this to their advantage and frame this story, because yeah, if you flash the image of his family and his beautiful children, it's like, how can you not just, your heart just not say, oh, I mean, I don't care what kind of politics they have, what religion they are, what color they are. You see something like that, it's like, nobody deserves that. And and now I kind of think at least he's a devout Christian. He was a vocal Christian, and I think that obviously you could say he's in a better place, but I mean, your prayers got to go out to his family who, that's consolation, but at the same time, yeah, I really hurt for them.
Okay, so wait, real fast. Nick Sorter, I know Tim Pool's saying that he's stabilized, right? So that just Tim Pool's saying that. So this is why I said we don't know what to believe, right? So I don't know. Some people are saying that he's dead.
Yeah.
I said he's either fatal or nearly fatal. So he's obviously in critical condition. I will say one good thing here, just to point this out as we read this. That guy had like medics and security right around.
Yeah, that was an immediate reaction.
So if something happened, he's in the best possible position to receive medical care besides being shot in hospital. I know that, I've been to those events. But Nick Sortor is saying what? Let me bring that up real fast. I don't have that up. Can you real fast just bring that back up on the screen here? I know I just asked Tim right now, because Tim said sources close to him say, so Charlie Kirk is reportedly stabilizing but in critical condition after being shot at Utah University. Confirm, praise God. So this is just what I don't know what to believe here. I don't know if you're there. I just want to make sure we know that. Someone was apprehended on the scene. This man right here. So they obtained a white man, an older white man. Braden, if you want to go back on this, I just want to bring that up. Is that since we're a live show, we're kind of just going off of the information we're getting from people we're talking to. So I'm being very careful with my words even before saying they're saying he's confirmed dead, but we're not sure.
Yeah.
Because we don't know. I wouldn't go with that until they're told to us what's going on. If he's not dead, that doesn't change the seriousness of this, and we're not going to let them sweep it under the rug.
No, without a doubt, we can't let them sweep it under the rug, regardless of the situation here and how it unfolds. What we can do right now, while we're waiting for more updates, is kind of understand that there is more than just a spiritual war. This is devolving into an actual war. This is where people are actually being attacked over what they believe. And I was scrolling through more comments just on TikTok, looking and seeing what people were saying. There are people who are saying, is the shooter okay? Is the bullet okay? What, Charlie, maybe he'll change his tune. This is why we need better gun. People need to realize that there is no longer a chance for dialogue with that. How do you reason with somebody who celebrates the death of another human being? these people are so far gone that they will refuse to talk to you and instead celebrate the demise of you or anybody who thinks like you simply because they don't like what ideas you espouse. That is a problem. That right there is ironically what Charlie was trying to fight against. His whole thing, I've seen tens of clips online of him talking to people at his booth saying, you know, when we stop discussing is when problems arise. When a marriage stops communicating, divorce happens. Like when a country stops discussing the problems with each other, whether they agree with it or not, when they stop talking, dangerous things happen. And this is literally what he was fighting against. And you have people who refuse to listen to that because, frankly, I don't care what your politics are. If you're celebrating the death of somebody simply because, and alleged, it's not confirmed, but if you are willing to celebrate the attack, the attempted assassination of somebody simply because you don't like what ideas they espouse, you need to be checked mentally. You should be in an institution.
So how do you even survive that? I'm sorry. I just want to point it
Immediate
out.
pressure
No,
on the neck.
You think so?
That'd be the only way, right?
Do you know
No,
what?
I mean, my buddy Brian backstage was probably the only person who saw the video that said, "Oh, maybe he's okay." I don't know. When I saw it, and I said, "I hope that I'm wrong. Have no medical expertise." But
Yeah, I don't know.
But what I saw, I was like, that was deadly serious, and I don't know how you survive that.
Is it just because, like, dude, I don't mean to be graphic here, but it's a very graphic situation. I don't know what they call that, but the forensic specialist that tracks blood splatters. I'd love to know people who watch too much forensic shows or know in terms of the blood patterning from the video that's on Instagram and on our website, rifttv.com. If you can watch that and let us know what you think from the blood patterning, if you believe that was something that looked fatal or not. Because, again, sometimes people do get shot in ways where it misses. There might be a lot of blood, but, you know, if blood doesn't squirt out by a certain amount of feet or something that just drips or whatever, then you know it's just impact, blood from impact or shrapnel, or the bullet goes through the neck and it doesn't end up ripping through the neck. You know, maybe they didn't use a hollow point. I don't know. It depends what he got shot with, right? Do you have any news about what he was shot with, whether it was the size of the caliber
I
was?
thought it was 223, but I could be wrong.
Ed was saying potentially 5.56, so it's an AR potentially.
If that was an AR, I think, wouldn't that rip open his neck? Wouldn't that?
That's tough.
Wouldn't it put a hole in his neck?
It would 100% put a hole in his neck. Breitbart's reporting that he's stable, though, so it must have been, this is just a speculation, but it must have been he gets hit in the neck, somebody comes and immediately applies a massive amount of pressure to stop the blood from gushing. Because in the video, which is incredibly graphic,
Yes.
it is gushing. It's insane. And so you would have had to apply immediate pressure and then just book him to the hospital. That would be the only chance you would have of potentially
Yeah, if it was a
saving him.
5.56, this is extremely unlikely and rare to survive shot to the neck with a 5.56 caliber.
Once don't show my
Hopefully
screen
it's
here.
not.
real
My friend
fast.
is saying that it's a 5.56. He works private security. He said that's exactly what it sounded like.
Yeah, it says that a survival of that, been hit with that caliber, is considered a miracle, a medical miracle if it occurs.
Well, there are miracles today,
Yeah.
and things could, and let's not hope that it's worse than it is.
I hope he's okay.
But yeah, well, not just hope he's okay. Hope he makes I mean, like, I know
Yeah,
what you mean, but I
recovery.
hope he makes a full recovery, and
Yeah.
that would be a miracle. However, I refuse to live in a violent society like this. This is all I'm going to say is, as I refuse. If you're just joining us here on the live stream, Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck, not at. It wasn't shot at. He was shot in the neck, direct hit. What appeared from the way he's sitting his left side of the neck.
Left side of the neck.
Left side of the neck. By what some ballistic hobbyists are saying, sounded like a 5.56 caliber firearm. Although we don't have any details on that yet. A white man, looks like maybe in his 60s or late 50s, was arrested with bald hair. No details about the shooter. Top level sources have told Tim Pool and others that he's stable but critical.
Breitbart confirmed as well.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't trust Breitbart on
Fair.
this stuff.
Very
Breitbart's just quoting Tim. So, yeah, I'm just saying it's Breitbart.
Yeah.
And we want that to be true, and I'm hoping it's true. And if we can get a full recovery out of this, I think that we're all shocked if he survives, because this was not a grazing of the ear. this was an assassination attempt. And if he doesn't pull through an assassination, remembering if he's stable but critical, that means nothing because he could be permanently damaged. He could be permanently disabled. He could have, to have some more surgeries. We don't know the state of where he's in. I believe from my previous time in working in urgent care, he's stable, meaning like he's not declining. They have his vitals consistent. And I don't believe he's on life support then. He's probably not on a breathing machine or something. So they've probably stabilized his body. Again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he has, see if we can bring this back up here for a second. Just remember to remind you guys that Charlie Kirk does have 2 small kids and a very, very lovely wife. Charlie is a friend of the show here. I know there's a lot of splintering on the right wing ideologically on, whether people support the places and the people he supports, but there's no time for that right now.
No.
It's not part of the discussion. Quite frankly, anyone who makes it about that is a piece of shit. So this is not what this is about. And so we're going to give you more updates. Just so you guys know, about halfway through this, in about 20 minutes, we're going to talk about a couple other things while we're waiting to get more information on this. This is an ongoing and breaking story. And I did reach out to find out some more details, but this is absolutely horrifying for the state of the country. And I think to kind of pass it over here for a moment, you're going to ask yourself what kind of country you live in where you're not even done reeling from a unprovoked racial murder, right? But like an assassination, because it's a politically motivated racial attack, right? You have a black man, DeMarcolos or something like that. What's his name?
DeCarlos Brown Jr.?
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
He should be dead, Brown Jr., to be
Facts.
quite frank. So you have this guy, and you know those images you see of, let's see if I can bring this up here for a moment. This image from the young girl who was savagely murdered by a very disgusting, this image right here. I mean, this is absolutely insane. That image of a young Ukrainian girl, a young white woman, alone, separated from her family. That's a real refugee. That's actually a refugee. That's what a refugee looks like, genuinely. Because the ones we're bringing in now are just scammers, and they're not refugees. When you see that image, JT, and you see that, we're not even done with the discussion on that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too, the state of violence. But I mean, that story has definitely rocked the world. And as I put out a tweet that kind of went viral, is that we went from being fatigued to being enraged. That it's not because we're full of hate, it's because there's no accountability for the violence in this country, A, and also to jail and prosecute black offenders or protect other races, and majority white people, from these people who hate them and have been brainwashed to hate them. Who brainwashed these people? Is it natural? Is this hatred of liberals towards people like Charlie Kirk or these black guys towards white people? What is this programming? Where did this come from? Is it natural? I think you have a lot of great opinions on conspiracies and what's going on. Where do you think this comes from?
I don't really want to get too conspiratorial on here. I'm still, like I said, yeah, because we're still reeling from that. And you just see that. And I saw the video of the attack on the train or the bus yesterday. And then we're seeing this. And it's like, there is evil out there. I mean, there's obviously real coordinated evil here. And I'm not just saying, like, I'm talking about conspiracies. I'm talking about, like, spiritual warfare. I'm talking about, like, in high places. So when you see this, it's like, you can't help but think that, yeah, this is not the place I want my kids growing up, where that one man gets attacked for his opinions, young woman just starting out her life here, making a new life in America, which that was supposedly the American dream, is to be able to come here, land of the free, get shot for speaking wrong opinions, and then you just get killed for being in the wrong place in the wrong color.
She was minding her business. Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting, but the media has to take a lot of blame for this too. The government has to take a lot of blame for this. One, we have people just piling over the border who are very dangerous. That's a problem. We also have crime statistics being manipulated. So this way they can try to protect certain classes, you know, and they glorify these killers. They change the narratives all the time. So it's a lot of it falls on, you know, the media, the news, government, all different kinds of angles, and what people are glorifying, what people are allowing to happen. We have judges letting killers out all the time.
Yes.
We you know, it's just sickening to see how far they're allowing these people to go. And a lot of times I don't think it's because our government's stupid. I do think that they're just a little conniving in a little way and are leading, you know, the country in that direction for whatever, I don't know. But this is something that we have to put an end to because nobody feels safe anymore. It's sad when I go to El Salvador and I feel more comfortable walking around at night in El Salvador versus walking down some of the streets we have here in America. And that's just crazy for me to even to say, but that's how I felt. And it's because what we've allowed for so long. We've allowed the destruction of our country. We allowed the mental people to get out of the asylums, and we allowed all these things to continue. And even now, like, so for instance, MSNBC going ahead and protecting, or not protecting, but saying, oh, it could have just been one of his people at his rally shooting off a gun. You know, it's just sickening, and it makes you think, where's this all coming from? But you know, there's definitely a coordinated attack on the U.S. and now we're seeing the destruction and of our own country.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, it's interesting because I'm from Virginia and I'm down here in Florida doing a couple shows, and we're staying in Miami. So we get in, I think, around 9 o'clock the other night, and I'm asking the concierge, is there a convenience store close by to go? And the guy's like, oh, I don't recommend you walk.
Yeah.
And we're staying at a nice hotel. You know, it's not cheap. Nothing's cheap in Miami. But yet, me by myself is not safe to go walk to a convenience store.
That's crazy.
Does it feel like that down there?
I mean, it did. I mean, we're kind of in a gentrified area, but it feels
near
like
Brickell, or where are you at? Like
it's a Wynwood.
Okay.
Wynwood. So it's expensive, but you could throw a rock and you could hit the ghetto from where we're at. So yeah, when he told me don't walk, I said, that's fine.
Yeah, take the warning.
I wonder what, because of your skin color, or is it just because of a person? Is there a white guy out down there, or what is it? Because there's no white people in Miami.
Well, in this area, of course, we're right by a bunch of clubs and restaurants and stuff. But I guess I said if you go probably the other way, where you're going through where the gas station likely would be, is away from that. But yeah, it did seem like if you took a wrong turn around there, you were not going to be in a safe area. And I felt like that. And I said, I'm not too worried for myself if I don't have my family with me. But yeah, I'll take advice. Don't walk alone at night here.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, but the violence problem in this country, and again, if you're just joining us here, reminding you, we don't know if Charlie Kirk is dead. Some reports are saying that he is confirmed dead. However, others are saying that he's stable but critical. And you can take that what you mean. This was an assassination attempt. We can confirm that. And we know that there has been an apprehension of an older white individual. That's what we know. There's no instances that this was a racially motivated attack. So I don't think race is the core value here. I mean, Charlie's not exactly a popular guy with the left, so one might assume it's a left-wing attack, but MSNBC says it might have been a follower shooting his gun off in celebration and accidentally hitting him. They literally think that we're like hooting and hollering, like pew, 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 like shooting guns off at our events.
Samity Sam from like Looney Tunes or something.
That's what they think we are. They literally think that we're like, they don't realize we're educated, we're college educated, we are just not mentally retarded. And, you know, a lot of MAGA are because they don't understand that, you know, obviously we talk about MAGA's obviously sold out to a foreign nation and things like this. So there is a bit of people who don't see the truth. They haven't woken up yet. But at the same time, it's okay because we're all in a different part of our path. But we definitely not, even rednecks are misunderstood. The entire portrayal of the South is a complete lie. You know, a lot of people from the South I know, including an account called Dissident West, said, you know, a lot of you guys have demonized us in the South for a long time, calling us like outdated, you know, redneck racist. When in reality, we've had to live next to these people more than you have, and we know how they behave and how they are. And now you might believe us. Maybe we're not backwards. Maybe we're just realistic, and we're trying to survive. We're trying to survive after being forced to give up our way of life after the invasion in the 1860s from the North, and also further on in desegregation, integration, and the civil rights movement. Which, by the way, if you know this, there's an entire civil rights department in the United States that works with local news stations, outlets. You guys should look this up, verify this. Civil Rights Defense League, I believe it's called, and its associates that work directly to make sure that anti-white racial crime from minorities is not publicized, is not broadcasted, out of fear that whites might reject integration and desegregation and might not want to live around people. They want whites to feel more safe than they are. Isn't that sick? They want you to feel more safe than you are. They want you to have the illusion of safety. And that's the problem of Gen X and boomers. I spoke to someone last night, is that they want to go back to what the country was, where Gen Z never has a back to go to. Mm-hmm. And so they want to go forward into something that's never been. And so that's the division, is Gen X and boomers are like, when they control the media, they want us to like not go too crazy, because they're like, well, if we just get back to like colorblind meritocracy from the 90s, that's what we can get back to. And the rest of us are looking, the young millennials and Gen Z are looking like, hey, first of all, that's impossible, okay? Institutionally, they've co-opted every institution. The fact that we're MSNBC literally basically used the shooting against Charlie Kirk to mock conservatives. And by the way, never covered the killing. What does this say here? MSNBC.
Bukele replied to the video we played of MSNBC.
Oh, yeah, MSNBC just said the shooter might have been a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration.
It's sickening.
We also had a video of the first responders. I sent it in the chat.
I don't have a chat here. You'd have to put it in the doc.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to put it in the doc. Yeah, but like, so the DOJ is coming out. When they're not defending Israel, they've decided maybe we should care about America a little bit. This is what's happening now. They've let the situation get so bad and sent so much of our money to fight the war in Ukraine, so much of our money to fight wars for Israel in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the rest of the countries. And they've neglected our nation to such an extent, basically abandoning the Civil Rights Project and just trying to maintain damage control. That's what I'm saying. They're just trying to make you not see how bad it is. Gen Z sees how bad it is because Gen Z doesn't consume mainstream media. Gen Z watches alt media only. They watch reports, they watch Instagram reels, they go on Reddit, they go on boards on 4chan, and they see the extermination of the white race. They see the attack of conservatives. They see the burning of churches and the attacks on Christianity. They see the destruction of family. There's no going back. Like Gen X and boomers think to where it was easy to start a family. People don't even know anyone their age that even has a family, So there's no going back to when your family, was able to survive easily, because no one had a family that was surviving. The family didn't even survive. And you have the Pam Bondi here from Florida talking about prosecuting the killer of the young Ukrainian female refugee on the bus in Charlotte. And my question is, since Gen X and boomers can't stomach what needs to happen, since Gen Z wants segregation, they want freedom of association. I guess segregation would be hard to obtain. They want freedom of association is what they want. They want to kick Muslims and remigration of third worlders. They want to cancel the visas of H-1B. Maybe our government, for once, might take a break from sending money to Israel. Maybe they'll take a break from funding foreign wars. Maybe they'll take a break from trying to end anti-Semitism, which is not a problem in our country. And maybe think about the people who built this nation. Think about the conservatives who got them into office, and maybe try to do a damn for our people. Here's what she had to say.
We are going to prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. We have taken the case because it's murder on mass transit. Progressive DAs cannot handle this case. The progressive DA in North Carolina in Charlotte, his name is Spencer Merriweather. He believed in letting him sign a written promise to appear. He participated in passing that, agreeing to let criminal defendants sign a written promise to appear in court. That's what he was allowed to do in July. Weeks later, he murdered Irina. Unbelievable that this happened. No longer. We have jurisdiction now. We will not let a progressive DA keep this case. Justice will be served. He'll be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. He had 14 prior arrests. He had been to prison before for assaulting someone, robbery with a firearm. He had had 3 assaults, 1 on a woman, not charged, yet he made multiple 911 calls again, gets arrested, and was told to appear because he wrote a written promise to appear in court. Had he been held in custody, she would be alive today. This has zero to do with politics. I've been a prosecutor for a very, very long time. This is one of the most gruesome murders I've seen in my career. President Trump cares about it. I was with him today because he saw that video. He saw that horrific video of this young woman with her mother who fled to our country for protection from Ukraine. She worked at a pizza restaurant. She was coming home from work, still wearing her uniform, got on that bus, and never made it off the mass transit.
All right. So going back to the Charlie Kirk update, for those of you that are just joining, as I mentioned, we're not doing any ads in this show because I think it's inappropriate. But I do want to say, we are trying to get the truth out. And the best way you can support the truth, which is what we stand for. Don't support us today. I'm not calling attention to this network. I'm calling attention to reality. Please share the article where we're giving regular updates and showing people the reality of what happened with your friends and family, to tell them what happened here. I'm dropping it right now in the chat on YouTube. I'm dropping it right now. It has the graphic footage. So they say that so they say you leave that on the screen there for a moment. We're giving live updates. Alicia Powell, one of our journalists, she's fantastic, and she is live updating on what's going on. So keep this article handy. Go to rifttv.com for updates on the situation, and please like the video, subscribe, and get away so we can boost it in the algorithms. We need to boost this in the algorithms because a lot of people aren't going to talk about the truth. What we have here. I want to talk a little bit about the criminal aspect. I don't know what your schedule is, but I was wondering if we just go for a little bit longer and then we cut the stream and then we just record together separately and release it separately. Is that fine with you? The second part?
We could just do whatever. I mean, I'm
Are you good with that?
Well, like I said, I have to just get to my flight at a certain time. But
okay, but I think we'll do that. That'll make more sense for this because I don't think.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
It'd be a weird adjustment with what's going on, especially with the title.
Yeah.
I want to get your opinion here. So they're saying that the assailant is at large. What are the chances that we actually find this guy and get any information about this guy, JT?
I would say, based on history, not much, the slim chance. Because
Really?
again, like I said, those attacks that happened on Trump over the summer when he was running for election, and it's amazing how quickly those stories disappeared. But I want to go back to the Ukrainian woman. I thought that was a great take about how this is what a refugee is, and I think that this is another one of those unintended consequences of this war that our government has helped fund. And then you have the Trump administration talking tough about what they're going to do to this guy after he's done it. But again, this seems like they're good at doing things after something. But this should have been prevented, as this guy had a rap sheet a mile long.
Yeah.
It should have never happened. This woman should not have even been here.
Yep. And her family, his family even has a history with it. His brother killed another white guy, an elderly man trying to steal his cell phone. We have a video clip of that. And then his father also had a history of violence. So, I mean, this family is very prone to violence. And I know he's trying to come out and say now, like, that the government put something in his head or something like that.
Well, I mean,
there's always chances MK Ultra, but I just think this was just somebody who was just rapid crazy and, assaulted the girl. And a lot of times in the black communities too, there's a lot of trouble there because, and I know a lot of times me and you go back and forth on this, but it's also what they're glorifying, the music they're listening to, the lives that they live. It's just, being told consistently that, every cop's going to kill you. And our government's pretty much weaponized them in many ways. And we see that firsthand.
Yeah, so I just want to tell you people are here. The footage is out. Charlie Kirk was shot. It's not according to sources.
Yeah.
Go to that website. Yeah. Go to the website. Go to the rifttv.com. I mean, the Rift TV, THERFT TV on Instagram. We also have the post there because I don't know where people, if they're younger, you might want to just share the story with them there. But rifttv.com has the story. But I will remind you, he did get shot. It was very, very serious. Top sources are saying he's stable but critical. I know some people are telling me he's dead. So I don't know what to say. But I will say, when you look at the crime problem, one of the main things that we need to focus on and we need to be able to tell ourselves is we have two sets of violent problems that are currently on our hands right now. We have, and we need to differentiate this. because I don't know if you saw what the Babylon Bee, not the Bee people blamed the killing of the Ukrainian girl refugee on the woke mind virus.
I did not see that.
Yeah, oh, they
Although I'm not
did.
surprised.
They absolutely did. The woke mind virus. Do you know my BMW M3, just a few months old, insurance won't cover it, got stolen by 5 woke mind viruses.
It succumbed to 5 of them?
5 of
Wow.
them, yeah. And they wore
Crazy.
masks and hoods and came at 4 something in the morning and removed the woke mind virus has legs and hands now.
Oh
Isn't
my
that
gosh.
crazy?
Is there a way to like? Can you take an injection to protect yourself from that? Is there like some sort of preventative
yeah,
measure?
Pfizer's developing one right now.
good.
It's
Okay.
called mRNA racism. So it's mRNA.
I thought it was Glock 19.
You heard of mRNA? Yeah, mRNA, but it's mRACIS CISM. Of
course.
It's a new. We should do that a new injection just with M racism. It'll save your life. But because we see a lot of these killers, and the point that I'm pointing out is that the media is already downplaying this. Check this out. If we can bring this up here, people are already putting up videos celebrating Charlie Kirk being shot.
Yep.
And of course, it's women, liberal women, who are a plague on our voting structure. People oftentimes mischaracterize and say white women are the biggest problem with our voting bloc. It's actually not true. White women vote the most conservative of any female voting bloc, actually. They're the majority conservative, white women are. So it's not true. It's another anti-white propaganda tour from the establishment right wing to get you to hate white people instead of to really get you to focus on black crime or Jewish peddling influence or things that are really causing problems for your life. There's a huge anti-white agenda coming from within and from without. And a lot of that comes towards their hatred towards Christ and Christianity and a revenge on what they believe to be the Holy Roman Empire and on Jesus Christ. It's not that they hate whites, it's that they hate Jesus Christ and they see you as the Christian empire and they want to destroy you so they can get their relics back and essentially blot out Christ, which is why they want to destroy your society. It's not that these people just like love pornography or whatever. It's just that they've become the synagogue of Satan and they've sort of renounced Jesus, taken on whatever it takes to destroy Christ, and that involves, denigrating a culture and a society. And so you get a lot of these liberals who buy into that, the Bolshevism, and they sort of, you take away from women what's beautiful, with tenderness, compassion, empathy, and you start having women dancing, celebrating about someone being, essentially almost murdered. And that's, that's where we're at, for the point of the people. And I want to remind you guys, not only are they celebrating that, but just to remind you how serious, how serious this world is, that the people hate you and they want you to die. There was a lot of people too right here, a lot of black Americans celebrating the white Ukrainian girl being killed, saying deserved,
Well, did you see the video from that other guy? I guess an influencer came out and he's like, we don't care. We don't care if a white girl was shot. 99% of us do not give a crap if she was shot. I think we had that as well in here. But it's just sickening to see how they celebrate and don't give a shit. It's...
Who's they, though? Check this out. These are 4 of the most horrific crimes I've seen in the last year, perpetrators. One thing you'll notice, if you notice what I notice about their eyes. This is not even a joke. I'm not even trying to distract from the reality. Look at the eyes here. I want to know something about what he said, and I'm not going to try to go conspiratorial, but the guy who killed the Ukrainian girl had said that the CIA put material in his body that made him this way. Look at the eyes here. Is that just genetics, like a sub-Saharan physiognomy thing? Because they have this like droopy cantle tilt.
It's
You know what I'm
soulless.
Yeah, there's these are like demons.
Yeah,
you know what I
there's a
mean?
soulless look. Part of it, I think, is like you said, genetic. But then I think there's another part that plays into it that's a generational curse, because we know. I mean, you and I talked about it on Monday. There's a lot of voodoo and witchcraft all throughout different African continents. And so you can inherit demons from your parents. That is a thing. There is a spiritual and a physical war going on at the same time. And so there's definitely a factor here where these people are not, it could just be underdevelopment of the frontal lobe. It could be genetic inheritance from their parents, but it could also be genuine kind of possession almost.
Let me ask you this. This is moments before he was shot, by the way. We'll switch back to the Charlie Kirk thing. Videos released moments before he got shot. Charlie's insanely popular. Some people underestimate how popular these people really are. He's a very, very popular guy. And I think that the truth is that a lot of people who watch this show are probably on the more of like far right, per se. You've already decided, right? You already know about black crime. You already know about the liberals and the left. And you already know that transgenders are highly volatile and dangerous. But it seems like the country hasn't figured that out yet. Or I would say that they're uncomfortable thinking those thoughts themselves. And I don't know what that is, JT, but I feel like a lot of people look at someone like Charlie, where people that maybe watch this show that have kind of decided that they know what's going on, look at Charlie one way, but to a lot of people, because I'm not going to criticize him right now in the show at all, because he's in either dead or in a serious condition, Charlie is still waking young people up. And the Israel issue aside, because I don't want to focus on that with him at all, because it's his life on the line here, and he's got a beautiful family. There's been a brainwashing, like I mentioned, with their eyes, with the black assailants, or with white people. There's been this white guilt that they have, where they feel like they can't confront the issues facing them. There's been a control of the media to where the media won't report the truth, so that people don't know what's really going on. You think it's all connected? Because someone like Charlie then is enough of a bridge, of a gap between the truth of what's going on, not in all situations, but at least in some, to kind of make people start to think for themselves and wonder, hey, maybe I'm being lied to.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I would say, yeah, that's a good analysis of him, because if you're further right than him, sometimes he was being used as the butt of jokes, because we kind of see what he won't say and the things that we think that he might be kind of controlled in that way. And so, but there's really no hate as far as on our side to him. But I would say that he is getting people to start to think, and he is challenging academia. So of course, that's the huge battleground is public schools, public universities, that they're trying to take 18, 19-year-old kids and turn them into the cogs in this machine. And he's trying to get them to question if that's the right way. And he's battling against the culture. So I would say that he might win some people over, and then they might go further, maybe to where some of we are, and they ask those questions. So he's kind of at the tip of the spear, maybe, and that maybe that's how he's viewed as, and that's why he's so much more dangerous than potentially people like us, because by the time they get to us, they've already been somewhat radicalized.
Yeah.
So but he's getting the ones, and that's what they do. The culture where they want the children. So, I mean, I'm a little bit older, so I would say that if you're 17, 18 years old going to a TPA USA rally, yeah, you're a kid. Mm-hmm. They don't hardly know anything.
Okay, sorry for bothering you. I just talking to, so he's like top of the top source here. He's officially dead. Like,
Disclose.
but also like I'm talking to one of his friends. He's dead. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna just go and say that this is a true source. He's officially deceased. No, I'm just gonna if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But based on the way I report as a journalist and the way I write on stories, Charlie Kirk has passed away, according to sources very close to him, within the last hour. It seems on September 10th of 2025, after sustaining fatal gunshot wound to the neck. It is not clear if he died from blood loss or from related injuries due to blood loss and trauma to the body. But the sources here appear that Charlie Kirk has been killed, and anybody who's going to try to bring up anything right now other than the fact of what this means for his family, for his soul particularly, and for the state of the country and everything else, I would say, you have a lot to account for before God. And I pray for you, as we are all sinners. Christ forgive us. We do pray for his soul. If you're Catholic or you're Orthodox, I'm not entirely sure what the route is when somebody passes away, but please say whatever prayers you can for them as well. And
we could take a moment if you want to. Just take like a moment of silence.
Yeah. I don't know, but I guess we'll just take a moment of silence for a second, and I'm gonna just get what I can from my source here, and we're gonna, yeah. Hold, give me a second. Give us a second for a second. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got text confirmation as well.
Yeah. Speaking to one of his friends, I know that some people have been saying that for a while, but Charlie Kirk passed away from an assassination, a successful assassination on September 10th, and he leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. Let me see if I can bring this up here for a second. He leaves behind a wife and 2 kids, and yeah, this is absolutely devastating to report, and a devastating story to. I don't know where that went. I don't know where the stuff is now on here, but it was in the story before.
It's right
Seems
here.
it's been deleted.
The family.
Yeah, I don't see it here.
Keep going.
Okay. So Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, has died. I believe he is my age, right? Yeah, I believe he's 32 years old. Today was his birthday.
Today was his
31
birthday.
is what Disclose said. So if it was his birthday,
Okay.
32.
Okay, so he was just assassinated on his birthday, allegedly. He leaves behind a wife and 2 beautiful children. Charlie was a professed Protestant Christian who was devout and, from his own admission and from the people around him, gave his life to serve the Lord. And despite political differences that many of you may have with him and what's gone on, there is a level of remarkable remorse and seriousness here. That any day. He's 31 years old, and just a reminder to be praying for his family and for those around him, as this marks a very dark chapter in our nation's history, not just because an assassination occurred, because death is always a tragedy in terms of just men or men who are fighting for righteousness. But as we watch the radical liberals make videos on X, which I won't show out of respect for the family, but celebrating his death and being shot at, I think the question comes from everyone here as everyone takes the time to soak in what this means. I think the question is what do we do? And how do we avenge his death? Apparently there's no perpetrator that has been apprehended. The man who was apprehended allegedly had no firearms on him and was not the perpetrator. Let's see if I can bring up some more content here. I'm going to see if I can bring this up here about the perpetrator. Eyewitnesses say that the guy arrested was not the shooter. Check this out. Here's what they had to say in terms of an update.
I think whoever did it was a good shooter, a sharp shooter. It was one shot right directly to the heart, and we need to find out who did this. I think there should be a research completely done that took place hours, maybe a day before anything went on. Who could be there and pull that trigger and do it? And I don't think it was George Zim. He was poor, broke. He maybe was on medication, a little bit loony boon, maybe a perfect person to pick and say that did it, but I don't think he did it at all.
So at this point, but did you see him taken into custody? Did you see him with any kind of thing in his hand, any device in his hand or anything like that?
Yeah, I saw when they actually put the handcuffs behind his back.
Okay.
I followed them.
All right,
when
we're going to go to Jason Chaffetz. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of.
I immediately have to cut that. Can't have a guy doubting the perpetrator was the guy that was in. That was very suspicious to cut him off mid rant. But everybody in the chat, if you're just joining us today, it appears from reports, internal reports, as well as what's going on there, that it seems like Charlie's dead. So I don't know what you guys are thinking about this, but that's pretty heavy.
That's yeah. We said it at the beginning of the show that this, regardless of the outcome, would set a very dangerous precedent. But I think it's going to be really tough, because what this has done now that supposedly, as the reports are saying, he has died, this assassin was successful, it will only lead to more scientifically proven violence. Every time there is a nationally broadcasted disaster, more disasters follow suit. If there's a big airplane crash, car crashes, suicides, and other airplane crashes, there uptick in overall occurrences. When Robin Williams, ended his own life, suicides upticked. And so this attack on Charlie, I can only see from a scientific standpoint, causing more violence against conservatives specifically. And this doesn't, and it's not just, conservatives like Nick Fuentes who have the far right ideologies. Charlie Kirk, like we said, was milquetoast in terms of conservative ideologies. This is so dangerous for the future of the nation. I can only hope that there will be a portion of people on the left who realize that their rhetoric is what perpetuated this, is what caused this, who take accountability and who wake up. Because that would be the only silver lining in this that I could see as of now.
Yeah, there's also MSNBC. If you didn't hate him enough, now they're blaming Charlie Kirk, saying it's his fault because of what he says. One of the contributors are on there talking about.
All right, so Charlie Kirk was just assassinated on camera. Again, I hate sharing the footage even more now it's confirmed. I think it just took me, I've tried to withhold any personal thoughts. He was a good friend of the show, very, 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 this means a lot for our country, right? It's a very, very dark and unsettling thing. But I think most importantly, it's like the media is already using this to attack Trump. And listen to what MSNBC had to say, using this already to stoke tensions in our country. The question I'm asking you guys today is, what are we going to do about this? Watch.
Because as we were just talking about a moment ago with Alan, after one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. The carjacking situation, he used that. And I know it's hard to predict the future, Mark, but you can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
I must admit, I'm at a loss.
Yeah, God forbid you use the other state of society to enact something. The problem that's been happening in our fucking country is that they have not been using anything to enact anything. Like, I don't really care here. Okay, so it's like the problem is they don't want us to enact anything. They just want you to die. They want you to get shot. They want you to get stabbed. They want your daughter to be raped. They want your houses to be looted. They want your cars to be stolen. They want you to feel unsafe. They want you to feel afraid and that you can't do anything. And my question is to Trump, who this is a friend of yours now, right? You already had an employee jumped and nearly killed in D.C. You got shot at, and you just had a friend who was assassinated in front of a group of college students. What the fuck are you going to do? Because I would like you to take advantage of MSNBC's groveling comments. They're snarky, foreign-influenced media outlet to say, and I'm afraid Trump might do something. And it's like, to Trump, that's what they're questioning to you. They're thinking you're not going to do anything. Or if you are going to do something, since they're already mocking you for it, why don't you make it big? And why don't you make it count? Because America is fucking sick of feeling the way that we all feel right now, particularly the way that Charlie's wife and kids who probably have no idea what's going on feel the way his colleagues are sensing, and the direction of what our country is going through is the question remains, what are you going to do? Because if you don't do something, I'm afraid that we are going to have to do something even worse. And it's not going to be good, and blood will be spilled, and chaos will erupt. So if you'd like to keep law and order, I don't think we're going to take any more of this. And I can say that we've gone from being fatigued in the Ukrainian issue of the young refugee woman to now being enraged and wanting justice. We're going to want the freedom of association. We want a Bukele-style reform on violence. But in terms of this, we don't just have black on white crime violence that keeps us unsafe. There is a schism of Bolshevik-level brainwashing that has been unchecked for 75 years since we lost World War II. I'm sorry, we won World War II, to the point now where you can't even be conservative, you can't even be right-wing without being afraid of getting shot in the neck. He's a podcaster. I want to remind you, it's a podcaster. And it's not the same thing as a crazy fan or something. And the media is already mocking it. So, you know, I don't know. I don't really know what to say here. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm sad. It's unfortunate, you know, and it's not good for anyone that's known him or anything. It's a deeper precedent than just a man dying. You know, it's a symbol for all of us. And I think I would say this. His blood is on all of our hands. So Charlie Kirk's blood is on your hands. It's on our hands if we don't do something. If we don't do something or demand justice or demand something be done, then his blood is on our hands. And remind you that this did not happen in the streets of South Chicago. This did not happen in the streets of Brooklyn or the Bronx or something like that. This happened in Utah, a white state with a generally Mormon population and a generally conservative slant. The level of insanity that has reached this nation is past the precipice of acceptability. It is past the demarcation of anything that we can deal with. Bukele realized that we'd have to violate the human rights of many to respect the human rights of the greater all. And it's worked there, and what he did, he's got control. And if you don't want a civil war, and you don't want a race war, and you don't want us to pick up our guns and to kill each other, then my question is, what the fuck are you going to do? Do you guys have any other options than what Bukele did? Because currently, we need to build a bigger CCOT, and we need to go in, and we need to make communism illegal again. We need to just take advantage of this. We need to do something about this. McCarthy was right. Our founding fathers were right. They made this country for a certain type of people, and they didn't want tyranny, and they gave us a fight against tyranny. And our people and politicians and Buchanan, they warned us, and they tried to warn us. And what we have is a bunch of neocon Jewish fucks working together to get us to focus on fighting foreign wars when our country is in fucking pieces. It's in pieces. And you can't even speak to a college campus about what you believe in without getting assassinated in front of a live audience. You can't take a train without getting stabbed in the neck for existing as your skin color. I've had enough.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Trump confirmed it as well. Trump put a post up on, oh, there it is. Yeah, the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. And now he is no longer with us. Melania and me, and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. That's, like you said, something's going to have to happen. This can't just get swept under the rug. And so that's just tough.
I just think we've had enough. You know, I think we've had enough. We've had enough about hearing about black people. I've had enough. I've had enough of hearing about fucking Jews. I've had enough, you know? I think Americans, conservative Americans, I think white Americans, I think people who are Republican have had enough of hearing about how everyone else is a victim, how everybody else needs help. How many laws have we put in place to protect Jewish people? We've had laws suggested to pay the retirement of IDF soldiers. How many laws and regulations and changes did we have to our police forces after BLM so that black people could commit crimes? How many reforms did we have to our justice system after a drug-addicted individual died from fentanyl overdose. They made us watch every damn second of a 17-minute video of George Floyd dying from an overdose, blamed it on a white officer, put him in prison in a mob justice rule, and then have told us that we're not allowed to be policed and we have to accept this. And it gets even worse. And then they've played, when we're 4 years old, they show us videos of children that are emaciated. And when we're a little bit older, they show us videos of Polish Jews being shot in the head and then play us Hollywood movies that are not even based in reality, like The Pianist or The Boy in Striped Pajamas, so that we feel guilty about who we are and that we can't stand up against leftism or liberalism because how dare we be right-wing? How dare Charlie be conservative? Because you know what? Conservative equals Nazis, and Nazis not just get punched, they should die. The dehumanization of conservatives like Charlie for his politics, for his skin color, the absolute state of the country. We have a woman who was killed for being white. We have a man who was just shot, I can guarantee, for his political beliefs, his political views. And we're supposed to sit back and feel bad for all these other people and make legislation. How about some fucking legislation for us? How about we make a law? How about you make a law in our country right now? The Charlie Kirk edict. How about you make one about the refugee Irina Zarutska policy? Before you ever go crying to me one more time about a college student getting his fucking feelings hurt on a college campus because people don't like his country genociding people. You know what? I don't care about his country. I don't care about them. I don't care. Before you tell me that a black woman was discriminated against or a white guy smiled at a Native American, how about you start defending the real victims of crime, persecution in this country, which are people who love this country, particularly the white heritage Americans who built this nation, and those people who assimilated that are not white that also support him too. This is not just a racial issue. This is an attack on constitutionality. It's an attack on your beliefs. And for those that are here, I always mention this. That's why this is not just an idea for white Americans, because there are plenty of white Americans who are working against this too, have fallen, prey to this poison, who want their own suicide, and they'll fight and raise money like the guy did for the killer of the white girl, Irina. It was a white guy. Mm-hmm. He was Irish, allegedly. We have a lot of people working against us of all races, including our own. And we have a lot of people that believe in the conservative values of constitutional America beyond just white people as well, that are still here, that are on our side. And if we don't demand some form of fucking justice, and Charlie dies in vain, and another person will die in vain tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, until guess what? They'll shoot you against a wall. And you know what I'm going to say? That's why I'm glad all I lost in the last couple of weeks was getting Grand Theft Auto. I'm glad I just lost a car and a gun. Because there are people who have been killed in vehicles in the last few days for the color of their skin. And there have been people who've been shot by guns because of their political beliefs and who they are. And I just don't give a fuck anymore. I am enraged. And I think we need to demand justice. I'm messaging a few people I know already saying, what the fuck are you going to do about it? I think you need to call your politicians. You need to call your senators. You need to call your congressional district. Look up what your congressional district is right now. Find out who your representative is. And tell them that you don't want to see another Irina Zarutska, you don't want to see another Charlie Kirk, and that you're scared for your family, and that you don't want them to send another fucking dime to Israel, or to give one more quote about how minorities are oppressed in this country, until they give a damn about Christians, until they give a damn about Americans that love this country, that hold conservative values, that built this nation, and that they stop acting like crimes against white Americans don't matter. Call your representative. That's a start. And tell your friends to do so too. I have Mexican friends from LA that are shaking right now, freaked out, So it's like, it's not just a racial issue. It's not just a conservative issue. This is an American issue, because if crimes are acceptable against him, like if crimes are acceptable against him, then what they're trying to teach you is acceptable against you. And Trump did warn that. They're shooting me because they want to kill you. They're coming after me because they want you. And maybe Trump felt too far detached from you guys. Maybe it felt like Trump was up here and you're down here. Charlie's not an elected official. He's a podcaster who got popular. So, does Tim Pool deserve to die? I'm just saying. Because then now it's like, oh, well, he's right wing. So then does a center-right libertarian guy deserve to die now? How far to the middle do we go? And once we hit to the middle, how far down the totem pole do we go? So do you deserve to die? Do your kids deserve to die? It's a big fucking question that I want to know. I don't know if you guys want to jump in, but I hope this does something.
Yeah, something has to be done. And as you said, he was just a podcaster. I mean, the girl that passed away, she was just, one of us, just sitting down, minding her own business on her phone. And this is going to continue until we hold people accountable. I mean, really, that's it. The government steamrolls, does whatever they want. And we always say, well, someone has to do something about it. And unfortunately, it's us. We have to hold our government accountable. I mean, this is someone getting shot for just using the First Amendment. And, now his kids are going to grow up. They're so young. Or they're going to have a hard time remembering their father. Thank God he has a lot of content so they can see. But still, it's terrible. It's terrible to rip this guy away from his family. And we have to hold everybody accountable. We have to hold our officials accountable. We have to hold every single one of them. Because I don't see a stop coming to this. If we allow it to continue, eventually, it's going to come to our doorstep. We could always sit there and say, well, this isn't, it'll happen to him. It's not going to happen to me. And if I just mind my business, I'll be fine. But eventually the violence, all this kind of destruction is going to find its way to your doorstep. It's going to find its way to your family. And there's no way to escape it unless we do something about it.
Yeah, it's you can only be nice and only... obviously the Bible says to turn the other cheek, but a lot of people don't fully understand what that means. When we're told to turn the other cheek, it is a presentation of an untouched, it was in the sense of you'd been hit in the face. You're smacked across the face, so you turn to present your other cheek to the person, as if to say, maybe what you did was not intentional. Here is my unhit cheek. If you strike it, then what happens next is on you, but you're allowing the person the opportunity to prove that they really meant malice behind what they did. And so this idea of sort of cowardice from Christian communities, I mean, we're responsible for the Crusades. We're responsible for spreading faith, but also the development of the Western society throughout the world. It can't just be this complacent, well, I'm just going to be nice and I'm afraid of offending people and I'm afraid of being the bad guy. There are times where you have to. Jesus says, I did not come to bring peace, but to bring a sword. He says, if one man has 2 cloaks, let him sell one and buy a sword. Right? We're specifically told to defend the gospel, defend our nation, defend our homeland. And right now, we're sitting back while the people who are on the front lines doing it are being killed. So no, it's not enough to just say, well, I'm going to pray for you. No. Prayer accompanied with action. Prayer is the first step. It's incredibly crucial. It's you cannot skip it. But faith without works is dead. And so if you truly believe that you want to fix this country, if you truly believe that you want to save what's left and rebuild from the rubble, then you need to take action. You need to do something. And it can be something as simple as what Elijah said, with calling your representative and demanding that something change. But people need to wake the hell up and understand that you are hated. You are hated simply because you have a disagreeing opinion, simply because you pray to Jesus instead of some other foreign god. You are hated and you are going to be persecuted. So are you going to sit back and take it, or are you going to continue to fight for truth in the gospel?
JT, I don't know if you want to weigh in on this, but it is a trifecta war, I believe, against white people, against conservatism, and against Republicans. But I think it's down to a war against Christianity and the people that purvey it. I don't think there's just a random hate of white people because of just the beauty that we bring or whatever. I think it's a hatred of the Roman Empire, of a continuation of the Byzantine, and the idea of getting revenge for the sacking of the temple, and also in general to destroy our empires and to pervert that which are the Christian nations that hold Christianity to pervert and to destroy us and punish us partially for a variety of reasons. And coming after Charlie, we know that there's a lot of reasons people hate him. They're celebrating his death. But I think that this is such a deeper thing. And I'm not saying that his was racially motivated by any means or anything. We're just bringing up the Ukrainian girl being targeted for being white. And that's people barely being able to reel from that and feeling shocked because we realize we're in a war. And the Bible did let us know that we're not a war against flesh and blood, but we're in a war against spirits, principalities, powers of the air. Like there's a deeper thing. What do you think is going on here spiritually, the state of the country? What do you think is going on spiritually here in the state of this and for people that are shaken up, that are feeling confused? You're both political and spiritual, but primarily you are spiritual and you have an open mind. You're a much more solid guy than I am in the things of God. What are you feeling? What are you thinking from a spiritual perspective? What's going on?
Well, I'm definitely thinking right now, of course, the worry is that this promotes fear and anger. And I think that those are powerful motivators for people who want to direct this country in the way they want it to go. But I think the thing that I've really has really pressed on me is that Charlie Kirk, if he was nothing else, he was a very strong advocate for free speech.
Yeah.
And if you think about what we believe, we hope this country was meant to be, would be something that was that we are given rights by God, and the government is supposed to protect those rights. And so obviously knowing those are unalienable rights from God, that, yeah, I feel like that at the very least, we should not shrink away and be afraid, because I think that's obviously what they want. Powerful voices who obviously can motivate the youth to not go into public because, I guess if they can get Charlie Kirk, they could get anybody. I mean, because that's pretty much the truth. But if he died for anything, it would be because he believed in something and he wasn't afraid to go out there and put his face out there and couple into the public fray. So I think that we should be the same. And I think that, that our opinions or the beliefs we hold true, they're not unpopular. Lots of times, obviously, that's what Jesus said, that they'll hate you because of me. They'll hate you because of the truth. So, but he didn't say it would be easy. Mm-mm. He said the opposite. So I think that at the very least, I feel like, that we need to say some things that will cause a lot of hate. I mean, it will. And I think that, but if you love the people around you, then you should be able to take some arrows from the enemy for speaking the truth. And I pray this country will actually start to do that and start to recognize things and not be afraid, because I think that's what they want us to do. They want us to be angry and afraid, and they want to give other people control. They'll take care of it. No, nobody's going to take care of it. We got to take care of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, let's talk about a couple things here. If you're just joining us on the broadcast and are confused, I did update the title to the broadcasts on what a surreal moment that was. Updating a title of a show. I don't think I've ever done that to Charlie Kirk shot by deranged gunman to Charlie Kirk's assassinated, confirmed dead. What a surreal situation, and it hits close to home here. If people don't know or you're new to the show, known Charlie for like maybe about a decade now. It's been about 10 years, and enough to have worked with him professionally, and his heart is right and it's good, and enough to have spent enough time with him, talking with him. He didn't drink alcohol, by the way, but have coffees or whatever, and he's given me so many opportunities in my life. It's just like, you just want to thank someone like that for, he's been a very kind person, and he's got kids, he's got a wife, and I'm not going to lose it on here at all, but it's like, those of you that have kids, that, you have a wife, just hug them, give them love and send prayers and be alert for what we're going to do. I already messaged a few people who are close to him. I'm like, hey, like, what are we going to do? What can we do? Right? Like, is this a government thing? Do we have to, do we help his family? Like, I know his family is affluent, but I'm sure it's not enough money saved to live for the rest of their lives, maybe even whatever. It's like, do we reach out? Do we give them space? And I've got people, that I'm talking to right now that are like very, very prominent people that are just like, I don't know what to do, man. Like, this is like scary. These people don't know God, they're not God believers. And to me, it's not scary. It's frightening though, and it's not one of those things, like remember in high school when a kid would die and no one, like even the bully who hated him was like crying at the funeral and like, here's my good friend. It's like, Charlie touched a lot of lives, and people get, really sentimental when celebrities die. But sometimes celebrities are assassinated, just for whatever reasons, bad deals, maybe they got into drugs, they commit suicide. But this is a very serious thing, because I can bet you 100% that this is a political targeting. This is a political targeting. I don't know if you guys remember, about 6 years ago, Steven Crowder was at, I think it was a Ben Shapiro event in Utah, and Not Gay Jared was handed a knife by one of the people in the crowd, and I went to Cal State Los Angeles, horrible school, for a year in between going to UC Irvine and then going to Azusa Pacific. And I remember Ben Shapiro spoke there, and that was the first event I'd gone to where they had to shut down the event because everyone was throwing eggs at everyone and they were chaining the door. And I remember I was like, what is this persecution? And I remember like our student newspaper was like, hey, nobody got killed, you know? It's just eggs, you know? Well, it's not eggs now, buddy.
It's the next cancel culture. People are unaffected by cancel culture anymore. You can't get someone fired for being, racist or saying things online anymore. You can't make them, lose their livelihood. And so the next step for these people, because they're sick in the head, is to try to take your life. That's what that is the logical thought process for these individuals. They can't stand what you say or what thoughts you may have so long as they differ from theirs, to the point where they're willing to violently attack you and take your life over it. That's what we're witnessing now. Cancel culture doesn't work anymore the way it used to. And so they have to do the next step, which is just utter violence.
Yeah, no, and I agree, but I think I've been saying that, and I think this is where like I get really mad at my critics now. I just lost a major thing in my life because of my views on Israel and my views on black crime from not going to get into any details, but like I had a big loss because the people in power just don't like my views on Israel, and they pressure people to not work with me and stuff, and that's fine. It's freedom of association, but I tell them like dude, like I'm not just being a dick. I'm not just trying to spew hate, We joke about it because that's what they accuse us of. So we joke about being racist, sexist, misogynist, hateful. Like, wake up today, we're going to go spread some hate. Because it's like, actually what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to love people. I'm trying to let people know what's really going on because I just know where this leads. And so when I'm serious back in the day, which is what radicalized me actually, was seeing, this event happen. It radicalized me to start getting really involved politically when Trump, was running. Because it was like, they're going to eventually try to kill us. Like it's going to turn to assassinations. It's going to be, I think that's where the Trump thing actually, people say maybe it's not real. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. But we'll take it at face value and say it is real, It's like, even if it wasn't real, the reason why you could believe it is because it could have been real too. It could be very real because you really could just assassinate him because people do really hate him because they have been brainwashed. And the reason why this is so serious, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, you see, okay, so that's why I noticed the Ben Shapiro thing was famous. I don't like Ben Shapiro personally. Ben Shapiro tried to kill my audience, He told us all we were dopes for not getting jabbed. I had a famous fight with him about that during COVID. I don't want Ben Shapiro to die. I don't want him to get shot, right? And I don't want people throwing eggs at him because I don't think just because him and I disagree, then let's get into a war of words and let's have a disagreement. But I'm not looking for him to get assaulted. And I think when I saw people like throwing pies at, just conservative girls, smashing eggs, like, it's, an egg is an egg. I'm not going to exaggerate how it causes, permanent trauma. But the downplaying of like, yeah, you can assault people and it's okay because they're right wing is something that stuck with me forever. And the first time that I got concussed and hit in the back of the head by an Antifa at a Milo Yiannopoulos speech, actually in 2017, was when I got very radicalized. And I was like, I'm gonna get in the political media scene. Like I'm gonna try to go this way. I didn't have the balls until I got discriminated against for being white. But I remember it's lived experience. What radicalized you? It's lived experience. And so my point is that if this doesn't radicalize you, you might not have been there with me at Cal State. You might be too young. You might have been in junior high. You might not have been there, with the people at the rally to see Trump get, assassination attempt. You might have just got plugged in yesterday. But if you're here today and you see somebody getting shot and killed, a father of two young, beautiful children, and a husband of a beautiful wife who also didn't do anything violent or call for violence, who even, by the way, has been not very supportive of even the war in Israel, which people criticized him of. He's been like, yeah, this is a little too much, a little too excessive. Even he knew that there's threats from both sides. And that's what I'm saying to you right now. This is the danger. There are threats from both sides. The Israelis may try to kill you if you go against them, or they'll at least take your money away, which they do to me all the time. And if you don't go against them, if you're for them, you got these, Bolshevik, radicalized Jewish, they have Judeo-Christianity, which a lot of people follow today. I don't follow that. Follow Christianity, but then you have Judeo-progressivism, which is Judeo, these things. You have these influenced stuff that come from Russia. And you got to fight that. It's foreign influence in our country. And those people are brainwashed. They're shooting up schools, man. They're targeting Christian schools and shooting them up. And so even if you're talking about, well, I'm not political. I don't care about the right or the left. I'm not fighting against transgenderism, so I'm not going to get shot. I'm not even Christian. I'm not religious. I'm not fighting against Israel, so I'm not going to get assassinated. Oh, really? Go ride a bus as a girl in Charlotte and find out if anyone cares if you're political or not. Wear a pizza outfit, better yet, so you can't even say it's because it was some sexual crime. You'll get killed for the color of your skin. So if this doesn't fucking radicalize you, if this doesn't wake you up, if this doesn't put you in a position to where, man, if it took eggs being thrown at people to get me riled up and to want to dedicate my life to something, it took eggs for me. I don't know where a lot of people have been, but if you've been in the shadows, if you've been watching from the background and you don't want to get involved, if you don't share this story with friends because it might upset them, if you're worried about how people feel rather than exactly how you're going to feel 10 years from now, when your kid is killed, when you're killed and your kids get raised without a parent, his kids are going to get raised without a parent. Do you know the damage it does to a man when he's raised without his father? It's serious. So if this doesn't radicalize you, then I don't know what would. And this would be a pretty good time for Charlie's opposition, particularly in the right wing, to kind of rally behind them and what's going on. So people know that it's, the way that we think on the right isn't like that we want our own people to be killed. We have a disagreement of ideas, but it would be a good time for the groups of people to rally together and try to help these people and try to remind people that in the end, we do disagree on political ideologies, but we're all Americans, damn it. And Charlie's a white American male, the most persecuted person in the entire country. In corporate America, all the way down to being shot in their churches, to being targeted in the job levels, to being destroyed at the family unit. And maybe, just maybe, we got to fucking unite together against this bullshit. And there's a lot of us here who see that the left and the right are not the answer. And we're trying to form our own thing. So please support the truth and support what we're doing here. Just share the article. I'm putting in, let people know. That's all I'm asking you today. We're throwing away all the ads we're going to play today. I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything. Share the article. We make no money from it. There's no value to us. Our site's not even monetized. Just please share the article. I'm gonna have to take a break for a second. I'm gonna let these guys carry it. But I'm gonna throw the article, and please share this with people. Let people know there was just a political assassination that took place in our country today, and the media is already trying to hide it. The media is already trying to downplay it. We played some clips earlier. That's a very, very serious thing. I'm gonna take a moment here, and I hope that people take this very seriously. I'll let the guys jump in.
Yeah, we can't sit this one out. All of us men, everybody, we have to step up. You know what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to sweep this under the rug, or they're just going to try to manipulate the situation. But we can't allow it anymore. We see our schools are being attacked. Kids are being murdered, raped. Women can barely walk down the street without having to worry about their life or anything happening to them. And at some point as men, we have to come together and say, okay, we're not going to allow this no more. I know a lot of times they said before that you have good times create weak men, and you go through the cycle. Well, it's time for the strong men to stand up. It's time for us to come together and say, no, we're not going to allow this to happen. We're not going to allow us to live in fear. We're not going to allow the story to be manipulated and everything just to be hidden. We need to go ahead. We need to be the light. We need to be the salt in the earth. We need to bring justice, and we need to make sure that we're not sitting this one out. We can't afford for anybody to sit it out. We have to make sure that we're dialed in and we're doing what's right.
Yeah, I would just say that these are very tenuous times. I mean, to go back to the Trump thing, I remember a lot of people probably at the same time, whether, like I said, whether you believe it was real or not. Can you only imagine if that was Trump, if that happened to Trump?
Yeah.
And I think we all feel it, especially after the pandemic. And we used to think this country was so stable. But then you realize, like, after the BLM riots and all that stuff, he's like, this place is like hanging by a thread. It does kind of feel like a powder keg. And I think, yeah, it's important for men to stand up and to speak the truth and not be afraid. Mm-hmm. Because I do think that you see one thing it seems like these things come in threes. Like we just had, is this number 2? And what happens next? And I would say that, yeah, this is deadly serious. I mean, obviously it is, but I would say that people really need to pay attention and don't just assume your government's got it handled, because we know that they don't.
They don't. No.
So I would say that I think it's up to us. It's up to Christian men and women to start speaking loudly and not be afraid.
Yeah, our government's not going to do anything. They get nothing done. So we're at this point, it's funny because you see all these posts online be like, well, now's not the time for violence. And this, all of the comments are like, shut up. We're done. We're done this complacency, this pussification, this weakness in America is the reason why all of this is running rampant. You have Irenia Zarutska who dies. 5 days later, this happens. And at the same time as the Charlie Kirk thing, there was a school shooting in Denver. I don't know if you guys saw that. I have it up on my computer, Mike, if you could pull my screen. 3 people were shot at a Denver high school. And they're saying it's the second school shooting today because they were refusing to call Charlie Kirk's assassination what it is, which is an assassination. And so they're saying, second school shooting today, and you have liberal accounts online going like this, welcome to America, as if this is just commonplace, but it's not. It's, like you said, liberal, progressive, far left rhetoric that led to this violence.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason why we're here, and it's because people have been taught since they were in schools, kindergarten and upward, to hate anybody that they disagreed with. It's also a huge factor is us removing God in schools. We replaced, everyone thinks, we replaced God and then we made it fair for all religions. No. The dominating religion that takes over when you take Jesus out of schools and the 10 Commandments out of schools is Darwinism, which is just survival of the fittest. All we did was teach kids for 50 years that the strongest will survive, coupling that with a hatred for the country that they were raised in and a hatred for the people who spoke different ideas to them. So we told them to hate anybody that they disagreed with, hate the country that they lived in, hate the government because it didn't give them enough free stuff, and that only the strongest would survive. Of course, they're going to do crazy things like kill people. Of course, they're going to do that. What they don't realize is that many people on the right have been nice and complacent. And I like to say a lot of people are saying, well, the reaction to Irenia Zarutski is just over the top and it's extreme. But what they don't realize is the reaction is warranted because you pushed working class, regular American people to the brink. We were nice. We were polite. We tried to agree. We tried to extend a hand in peace, in Thanksgiving, like, hey, we can work this out together. We tried. And every time we reached out that hand, offering you a nice deal, you bit us. And there's only so many times a person can get bit before they finally start to slap back. That it's that simple.
I was going to say, you see quotes like this from this individual. We'll probably be wrapping up the stream here in a second because I think we've said what we can say. Just a note here to make sure that Joey gets some of these clips announcing him being confirmed dead and stuff, and we can get these up to let people know. Because you think people know because they're on X, and they don't, which is why I'm telling you guys, please share this on your social media. Sometimes we mock Truth Social, or we'll mock a certain social media. And the reason why I even get mad we don't put our stuff on more places is because wherever people are is where your message needs to be, right? So sometimes we get in this mode of just being on the big platforms. So you could be like, oh, I only have 60 followers on my Instagram. But what if those 60 followers are not political and they don't even know what's going on? They've heard Charlie Kirk on from South Park. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's fucking loser or something like that. And they don't even know who he is. He was a good guy. They don't know anything about him, and they don't know that he's killed. And you may help. They might not find out about this until they watch MSNBC tomorrow if they cover it, and then being like, yeah, this is just Trump's just doing this to get, and it becomes about Trump. You can be the bridge and the gap of information warfare right now. We are in a war, whether you like it or not. We are in a damn war, okay? And, I can't help but hold back some tears because whenever somebody who you consider a friend or you're friendly with dies, or the fact that you're there assassinated on live TV, it's called tears of anger, You get flustered, you get flush, you get red because you want to do something, things that I don't think we can mention here on the internet. You'd like to repay at least a tooth for a tooth to whoever is responsible and for the people that are in the media, the people that are around there that cooperate to keep this kind of lifestyle going. You want revenge. The Lord says, vengeance is mine, says the Lord, but I take the stance of Bukele. I'll let better Christians take that stance. My stance on Bukele said is, vengeance might be God's and God may forgive them, but we don't have to. So we don't have to. And eventually, maybe God will require us to. but we don't have to right now. There's a time for grieving, there's a time for anger, and there's a time for justice. And I'm not calling for revenge, I'm calling for justice. And I think that the line between justice and revenge is getting skewed, and it's going to be hard to tell what the difference. Because maybe justice looks like a little revenge for the way we've been treated and what we've been doing. Because I see tweets like this that I kind of want to give our final thoughts on this. This person said, when will this white-on-white violence come to an end? We need legislation to address the epidemic of racism in the United States. And I would just like to say this. Thank you. All right. That's all I have to say, is just an F you to the person. Sincerely, fuck you to everybody who doesn't understand the seriousness of this. And I'm going to tell you, it's eggs first. Now it's gunshots. And like it was Trump, and now it's Charlie Kirk. Soon, it's going to be you. And I hope you take this as a fair warning that JT said it's been a powder keg for a long time, and I see the acceleration coming. And I always said that some of you are cheering on acceleration, and I understand that perspective because, whatever. But due to Hollywood and the people that made Hollywood, who we all know, humans have this odd way now of thinking that they're going to be the main character and somehow everyone else is going to die and they're going to survive and rebuild on Wakanda. And that's probably not what's going to happen. You're probably going to die. And the people you love are going to die too. Or you're going to suffer and your children are going to get killed and or kidnapped and raped and murdered. And they're going to laugh at it. So you're not going to survive probably. I'm just telling you this right now. It's a true thing. So stop thinking of the world like you're a main character and it's always somebody else, because sooner than later, it's going to be you or the people you love, and you're not going to avoid it. And so don't wait for your daughter to get raped by an immigrant. Don't wait for your daughter to get stabbed in the neck. Don't wait for your son to get stabbed at a football game. Don't wait for your favorite podcast host or your friend now who works for Charlie or whoever it is to get killed for you to wake the hell up and realize that we are in a spiritual war, but we're in a physical war too. And it may require hard choices. So we're going to figure this out. Please call your local congressional leader. Call your representative. Please tell them and talk to them about your concerns about Charlie. Leave a message. And for the love of God, please hug your family tonight. Hug your kids, hug your wife, hug your husband. Say a prayer for your family, for their safety, and for the safety of this country. Hug these people as tight as you can and realize that you're not promised even today. And so we pray for Charlie Kirk's family. JT, I know you're a much stronger Christian than I am. I'm kind of warming back up to it. I know you pray. I know that you take these things. I think it's fitting to actually say a prayer on the show today. You can say whatever you want for whoever you want, however you want to do it. But I think we can, if you guys want to follow JT, you can find his social media. He's we're going to be doing a separate show with him after this that will be aired probably Friday night. And if these things continue to accelerate, then it'll be on Thursday or Saturday in between the news cycle on a wide variety of topics. He focuses on conspiracies and things that are going on. He really got caught up in a very vicious news cycle, which I am sorry to the family and for that happening, but this is the way the news works. JT, you want to go ahead and close us out in prayer, and then I think we'll just go ahead and end the show.
Yeah,
and we'll wrap it up.
All right, Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you humbly today, Lord. We just pray a blessing upon this country. We pray for protection, Lord. We pray for Charlie Kirk's family, Lord. And we just pray for, Lord, we know that you can use all these things, even these horrible things, for your good, because we love you and we're called to your purpose, Lord. We just pray for a blessing upon this nation. We just pray for Lord, to cast out the spirits of fear and evil in this place. And we pray for men to stand up with the power of your Holy Spirit, to speak the truth, even though it's uncomfortable. And we just pray for just your guidance, Lord. And we just pray for, Lord, a comfort upon this nation as we grieve. And we pray all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.